Well, welcome back again to the YouTube channel, How to Get an 800 Credit Score LLC. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel, we talk about stimulus check updates and also how to build credit, how to increase your credit score, how to get the lowest payments on mortgages, lines of credit, loans, travel the world for free, also as well. But right now, we're focusing more on stimulus check updates too also as well. So today, what we're going to be discussing is when will the $600 unemployment benefit end, and arguments for extending it and also arguments against extending it too also as well. So we're going to get into it right now. So if you haven't already, definitely go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications also as well. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them here on this channel. Make sure you hit the bell notifications. So share this video on your social media also as well, your friends and family. So the extra $600 in pandemic unemployment aid, it may end a week earlier for some. So now what I'm referring to when I'm talking about the extra $600 unemployment, this is actually a benefit that was included in the CARES Act that was passed by Congress back in March, which actually adds an extra $600 on top of the unemployment money that someone may get from being laid off from their job. And as you know, many people have been laid off from their job. Right now, the numbers as far as how many people have filed for unemployment since the beginning of this pandemic is almost about 50 million people have filed, and about 20 million people are currently still unemployed. So basically 33 million workers are now claiming unemployment benefits, may be in for an unwelcoming surprise next month, according to this article from CBS News that was published today. The extra $600 weekly unemployment benefits, due to expire on July 31st, may actually end earlier in some states. So it's just basically a technicality for paying out the unemployment benefits. The CARES Act set July, which is a Friday, July 31st, as the last day for getting a extra $600 payment in weekly benefits for unemployment. But see, the problem is that some states, they pay out their unemployment benefits on weeks that ends on Saturdays or Sundays. So basically, if that's the case with the state that you live in, according to the United States Department of Labor, the last week to receive the extra benefit will be the week ending Saturday, July 25th, or Sunday, July 26th. So if you're on unemployment and you're getting the extra $600 a week, just keep in mind that your benefit may end on July 25th or July 26th. Okay? An example of that is California and New York, which ends their payment cycle on July 25th and 26th. Okay? So if you're in one of those states, just keep in mind that your unemployment, the extra $600 may end at that time too also as well. So basically, for an example, in California, the unemployment benefits without the extra $600 a week add-on from the CARES Act would be $167 a week. While in New York, if you live in New York, you can get up to $500 a week. So basically, that's what you can expect to receive after this extra $600 a week in unemployment benefit ends too also as well. And the article continues to say that more than 1 in 5 workers is either receiving or has recently applied for unemployment benefits. That's according to the Economic Policy Institute, or I'll refer to them as the EPI. So basically, this benefit, the extra $600 a week, is a great help, especially for families, households, and people who lost their jobs, just to keep them afloat. You know what I mean? So that way they're able to pay their bills, pay their rents, pay their expenses, and just basically, keep them alive. That extra $2,400 a month is actually a big help, especially when you add that on to someone who's living in California and making $167 a week in unemployment, or in New York making $504 a week in New York. Actually, in New York, that could be actually over $1,000 a week. Actually, $1,100 and $1,104 a week. Okay, so now what happened since then is the HEROES Act was passed since the CARES Act, and that was passed through the House of Representatives on May 15th. But some Republicans, they are against it. Okay, and they believe that the unemployment pandemic benefit from the CARES Act, the extra $600 a week in benefits, they believe, according to Republicans, that it actually makes people want to stay on unemployment. It prevents people from wanting to go back to work, because for some people who say make $500 a week, for example, working full time on a job, and now all of a sudden they're receiving that extra $600 a week benefit, right? And they live in California. So if you add the $167 a week for California plus the extra $600 a week for pandemic employment assistance, that would equal about $767 a week. I don't have my calculator with me, so please forgive me if I'm not exactly on point here. Okay, but that is more than their $500 that they were making on their full-time job. And the same goes for New York, making $1,104 a week, including that, $600 a week extra in unemployment benefits, is way more than someone who works a full-time job paying $500 or $600 per week, or even $300 or $400 per week. So Republicans say that this is a disincentive to return to work in many states where the wages are lower than what the expanded unemployment benefit pays out. Now, this does not apply to people who are making more money on their full-time job than they are now when they are receiving the extra $600 a week pandemic employment insurance benefits, on top of the state unemployment benefits too also as well. Okay, this is just for people who are making less on their job. So people are saying, well, why would I want to go back to work if I'm making more money just sitting at home on unemployment? I got more time to spend with my family, more time to spend with the kids, and go out, go to the beach, enjoy, do things that I didn't have time to do when I were working, right? So that's the Republican argument, basically. Now, a statement came from a person named Julia Wolf from the EPI, the Economic Policy Institute. She said, quote, "These benefits," referring to the extra $600 a week employment benefits, "these benefits are a critical lifeline that help workers make ends meet while practicing the necessary social distancing to stop the spread of the sickness." I'm not going to say the word because YouTube doesn't want me to say it. Okay. In fact, the $600 increase in weekly unemployment insurance benefits was likely the most effective measure in the CARES Act for insulating workers from economic harm and jumpstarting an eventual economic rebound, and it should be extended past July. Okay. So they're going to get into some of the reasons here of why it should be extended. Okay, losing the extra $600 earlier than expected may prove not only a financial shock to households, but also to local economies. Without continuing assistance, more Americans may struggle to pay their bills or rent, leading to evictions and defaults on loans. So now that could create more problems. Okay, people could not pay their rent because they don't have the money, and also people could default on loans, mortgage loans, car loans, personal loans, and that's going to actually hurt the pockets of the banks. Okay, With expanded unemployment benefits set to expire at the end of July, a failure to provide further fiscal support would severely constrain income and further weigh on the nascent recovery. Now, the word nascent, I had to go and look that word up because that's not a, typical word that I normally use. So basically, what they're saying by a nascent recovery is basically a rebuilding of the economy, a new start to the economy when the economy is, trying to grow again in the initial stages of growth. And that's where we were as a country with the states opening back up. But now a lot of the states are closing back down because there's been huge spikes in the sickness. I'm not going to say the word, the C word. Okay. Matter of fact, many bars, gyms had to close back down in several states. States that were closing down, many venues are including Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, California, and actually half of the country is seeing spikes in the C word sickness, right? So that's why, it was a nascent recovery, but now we are, kind of like backsliding. Our economy is backsliding right now. It's going backwards from starting to move forward and opening up, starting to close down again. And actually, I believe it was last week, Friday, our country saw a record in cases and outbreaks of 45,000 cases in one single day. So that was huge. And that's something to be very concerned about also as well. All right. So basically this could hurt, many households. Now, when we're talking about, other things can be affected also as well. And this is going back to the argument for. This is the argument for extending the unemployment extra $600 in benefits, right? What it can do is I found another article from Fortune, which was published today also as well, which says going back into recession is likely if the extra $600 in federal unemployment benefits are not extended. Okay, and they made some very good, noteworthy points here. That the people that are receiving the extra $600 a week in unemployment benefits, once that federal unemployment bonus is gone, however, the 19.5 million Americans that are actively receiving unemployment insurance would see a $600 a week or $2,400 a month pay cut. Okay, all that money would be gone. Okay, so if they have adjusted their lifestyle to receiving that extra $600 a week, then their lifestyle, they'd have to, is going to evaporate once that is gone. Okay, which translates into many households not being able to make ends meet, but also it could derail the economic recovery that's saying. Now we have a statement from Mark Zandi, who is a chief economist at Moody's Analytics. And he says the economy is going back into recession is likely if we cold turkey cut the extra unemployment insurance benefits. These people would stop paying their bills and they would stop spending. Okay, and that's important what he said right there, Mark Zandi, when he said they would stop spending, because spending is actually 70% of our country's GDP. Okay, so spending needs to happen for the economy to recover. Okay, people need to spend money, and that's what needs to take place. And a lot of people would stop spending money because they simply would not have it. Those 19.5 million people, they would stop spending as they were spending before. Okay, the extra $600 a week, it actually boosted incomes by around $70 billion in the month of May alone. This according to the Fortune's analysis of U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis income data. Okay, that's larger than the GDP of 8 states in America. Okay, so if the benefits are extended, however, through the end of the year, it is likely that GDP and household spending would be greater in the second half of 2020, according to a June report by the Congressional Budget Office, or CBO. And if extended through the middle of 2021, it would increase average quarterly GDP by 3.7%. That's according to the left-leaning Economic Policy Institute. Okay, they're saying left-leaning, meaning there's a majority of Democrats that are in that Economic Policy Institute. Okay, so however, if the extra $600 payments are fully extended, it would likely lower employment, according to the same CBO report. How so? Around 5 and 6 unemployment benefit recipients would get weekly payouts in the second half of the year, greater than they'd expect to make working. Okay, I already mentioned all of that. You know, people would be saying, why would I want to go back to work if I'm making more money just sitting at home on unemployment? So that is the Senate Republicans' view. Okay, their argument against against extending the $600 a week in unemployment benefits. Okay, now we have another statement from Pavlina Tcherneva, an associate professor of economics at Bard College, and she's also author of a published book called The Case for a Job Guarantee. She says those benefits put a floor on the collapsing economy. It's the minimum of what's necessary to protect or band-aid the economy. If removed, it is essentially letting the dam break. Okay, so that's her argument in support of extending the benefits throughout the year, to the end of the year, maybe even into next year. And the article ends with a statement saying, allow them to disappear, and we may see the hard-won economic gains that we've made disappear also as well. So my take and my thoughts on all of this, right? You have arguments for it, you have arguments against it. Now, the Democrats in the House, the majority of them, they want to extend the unemployment benefits. Now, the Republicans in the Senate, many of them want to end the unemployment benefits because their view is that it causes people not to want to go back to work. But I mean, if they don't have a job to go back to, what are they going to do but stay home and collect unemployment, right? So as far as the arguments from the economists, and the Democrats too also as well, and the EPI, we're talking about GDP. Yes, I mean, 70% of our country's GDP is spending, right? Now you have all these millions of people. You have about 50 million people who filed for unemployment since the beginning of the pandemic. Now imagine those 50 people, right? Just stop spending the way they were spending. That's about 1/6 of, or maybe a little less, probably 1/5, probably about a little less than 20% of the United States population stop spending the way they normally spend. That would be a huge catastrophe to the economy because people would not be spending in these businesses. You're talking about businesses opening back up. Well, people don't have money to spend in those businesses. What are the businesses going to do? Which means basically they're going to lose customers, right? They're not going to have as many customers. And the customers that they do have are not going to spend as much money. So they're going to lay people off. They're going to fire people. They're going to lay people off. They say, hey, Joe, we don't have that many customers for you. And I really can't, make up some job for you to do that really doesn't exist. Okay, so we're going to have to let you go. And there's going to be many Joes like that. Okay, so that's my thoughts on this pandemic unemployment insurance. I believe they should not just stop the unemployment insurance. The pandemic, or the C word, sickness, is still around. It's spiking in half of the country. There's actually a new pandemic that Dr. Fauci, which is one of the leading disease specialists in this country, says that is coming from China and can be on its way here, and it's just as bad as the 1918 Spanish flu. So, I mean, my eyes just popped out of my head when I read that article there. And it was actually many articles, not just one article talking about that. So, I believe this pandemic is not over, people. And since it's not over, you know, these people should have something to lean back on, okay? Many businesses are shutting down. 40% of small businesses will never open again. And that's huge. That's about 12 million small businesses, okay? And I hear about many gyms that are shutting down. Big corporations are already started laying people off. So it's, you know, a matter of what are we going to do to help these people? I don't think we can just cut them off cold turkey off the $600 extra unemployment insurance. I don't think that would be the right thing for our country to do, okay? Especially if there's no jobs for them to go back to, okay? So hopefully Congress will come up with a solution to this. Congress, as far as the Senate is concerned, and Mitch McConnell, who is the leader of the Senate, they intend to convene after the holidays. After July 4th, they're taking a 2-week vacation. They'll be back, and then sometime at the end of July, they will be starting debates and discussions about a new stimulus relief for this pandemic in a package. Hopefully, that will be inclusive of maybe some type of revised unemployment extra money benefits for a lot of these people, and also a stimulus check, or, you know, some other maybe moratoriums on evictions, who knows, okay? But I will be keeping you updated. So definitely I will be doing daily stimulus check updates and stimulus package updates. So make sure that you stay tuned to this channel, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications also as well. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them here on this channel. And also make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, so that way YouTube could better promote it to other people. And so from all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score family, stay safe, be blessed, and we'll see you guys in the next video. But bye for now. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the